This is in response to Billy's Talking Points memo from Tuesday, March 31st, 2015, trusting President Obama. From a headline like that, I know, Billy, you're going to try your best to trash him in your way. And this is, why I really like doing this about you, is because you really try to skew things to make Obama look extremely bad. And you do it very, very well. But it's all gobbledygook. So you start out with excuse me, is Obama weakened? The polls don't trust him, so you have a couple polls. Now, one of the things about those polls, if you read into them, a lot of times there are a lot of other things that Obama trusts is more trustworthy than the Republicans. But let's just say, you do bring up a couple things from two different polls that show that there is a trust factor with Obama. And of course, you also even indicate that 1/3 of the Republicans trust Putin more than they do Obama. So here it is. We have in America 1/3 of the Republicans. I don't know how many people that really account for. That total is trust the leader of a foreign country, a dictator, a czar, who has invaded a couple foreign countries, and they don't even have oil. And 1/3 of the Republicans trust him more than they trust the President of the United States. What does that say about them? Not what it says about Obama. What does it say about them? So you indicate that Obama has this huge trust deficit, and that we are negotiating with Iran, and that the mullahs in Iran basically indicating that the mullahs, let me get this quick, the mullahs don't necessarily need a deal. But yes, they do. They need a deal. They need a deal much better, much more than Obama does. Obama doesn't need a deal to seal his legacy, because he's not going to take a deal unless it's a good deal. If you know anything about the president, is that he will not take a bad deal in this regard. But what has gone on in the media has been a circumventing of the deal before the deal is even reached. What we call in spiritual circles contempt prior to investigation. So we know the parameters of the deal, we know the outline of the deal, we don't know the whole end of the deal. And of course the Republicans will trash it anyway, because all they want to do is bomb Iran or invade Iran or whatever they want to do, because again, they need to have a bad guy. The bad guy isn't Putin necessarily all the time, because remember how they like to swagger, but they need to have a bad guy, and it's Iran. And you go on to indicate that, Obama's had no foreign accomplishments. And of course, I'm not here to debate accomplishments. I'm only here to say about the Iran deal is that the Iran deal is very important because we would like to get it, China would like to get it, Russia would like to get it, Germany would like to get it, France, Britain, and the United States. We're not going to take a bad deal. And there are a lot of other things that are going on in the world right now. And when you say accomplishments, why don't we take a look at how many Americans have died overseas in combat in the last 6.5 years by President Obama, as opposed to his predecessor, because he didn't ratchet it up. He didn't invade. He didn't go and invade Ukraine. He didn't go, okay, whatever. So, but again, the mullahs need the deal much more than the Americans do, much more than anyone else do, because we have huge sanctions on them. And they know that the Republicans want to impose more sanctions, and they also know that the Democrats want to impose more and greater sanctions on them if this deal is not reached. So they have an incentive. And remember, they're only trading about 1 million barrels of oil a day. They could be trading about 2.5 million barrels of oil a day. It's very difficult for them to do because oil is traded in dollars, and they can't trade in dollars. So what is 1 million barrels a day times 100? That's 10 million, 100 million, 100 million a day. That's 100. Yeah, 100 million a day. 100 million a day. That's 500 million a week. That's 700 million a week times 50, 3.5 billion, something like that. They need that money. They need it. They need it big. Their economy is not doing as great. They don't have a diversified economy. They have oil. So And so you want to go on, you want to criticize Obama, you indicate that American workers are still making less than they were 6 years ago. That's because the Great Recession that was put upon us by George Bush and his cronies who tanked the economy. Remember, the economy was going down in George Bush's administration, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600,000 jobs per month. It just went steadily down. Then it stayed down for the first several months of the Obama administration. And we haven't recovered yet. And then you also indicate that there was that Obama was mean to the Republicans. No, the Republicans sat there on the night that he was sworn in. And had a dinner with Frank Luntz and decided that they were going to trash every single thing that he did. Whether it was part of their own policies before or not, they were going to trash it. Yeah, that's what they decided to do. That's how easy it's been working with these Republicans on all this, on everything that's going on. And so when you say that people are making less money, that's because the Republicans have not wanted to do anything to help the American people except tax cuts, and stop regulating oil industries, stop regulating carbon, stop regulating greenhouse gases, stop regulating acid rain, all of that kind of stuff. And I'm a white guy, so I know that when I hear stuff on the air, I know the racial undertones that those things have to deal with it, because I've dealt with this stuff all of my life. I've been on the golf course. I've been at the lunches. I hear what people have to say when they know that they're only talking to white people. So I know that a lot of this had a lot of racial undertones to it. And then to say that the economy, that people aren't making as much, and blame it on him, that's a very good sleight of hand, Billy. I really like that. You finish in going that it's a sad thing that the United States, that the mullahs have more power than Obama. And again, I'm not going to, that isn't even remotely true. They need this deal. And if they don't want this deal, then they're not going to get this. They're not going to get it. And I also want to point out two things, because number one, it is in their benefit to get the deal. Obama can walk away because he's with plenty of partners, and they'll walk away too. Now, the other thing is that when you make a deal like this, everyone has to come out a winner. And I know that our friends on the Republican side, don't want that to be. They want to dominate. They want the deal to be that we're crushing Iraq, and that's not the way it's going to be. Everyone has to come out a winner on this, and the losers will be the GOP, because again, they'll want to hurt the American people. They'll want to hurt anything that Obama might do that could be successful and help the United States as a whole.